I fit into the coal mine because I'm fifth generation. I've listened to my grandpa whenever I was little. Whenever I was a baby, I'd see him come home. He'd drink coffee. I would drink out of his thermos bottle. It'd be cold all night long where he was on Hughes. And then I just grew up and I said, hey, I want to be like Papa. He was such a good man. Everybody knew him as being a good man. I wanted to be like that. I wanted to be known around town for being the best I can be. That was one of the best paying jobs for an honest living around here. An honest man wanted a good job, he went to the coal mines.
We really need the EPA, and of course, Obama.
Thank you, thank you.
Last week announced, I think it was called the Clean Power Program. Some people called it a war on coal. I hope it is a war on coal, is it?
Actually, EPA is all about fighting against pollution and fighting for public health. That's exactly what this is.
If somebody wants to build a coal-powered plant, they can. It's just that it will bankrupt them because they're going to be charged a huge sum for all that greenhouse gas that's being emitted.
If you're living in a town that historically has relied on coal and you see coal jobs diminishing, you're probably going to be more susceptible to the argument that I've been wiping out the economy in your area.
And the EPA rules mean no more new coal plants. Isn't that the destruction of a great American industry?
Whenever I first went underground, I can remember it being $25 an hour. And then as I grew up and I've got more experience, it went higher and higher. You couldn't make that type of living doing anything else around here. You'd have to go to a big city or go out of state.
My uncles, all of them were coal miners. My grandpa was a coal miner. His dad was a coal miner. Pretty much every male in my family has been a coal miner at one point.
We're proud to be coal miners. My father wanted to do nothing else. My grandfathers loved being coal miners. I grew up hearing the stories of how much coal your grandfather could load, that kind of thing. They were proud to be coal miners. And we're proud of what we did. You know, coal mining made the steel that made America. We're proud of that.
It was the most exciting job I ever had in my life. And then once I got underground, continuous miner, you're always the person leading production. If you're running, the rest of the crew's running. If you're bolting top, you're making it safe for everybody else. So I loved that job. We had the competition hat, but on my hat, I had to put stickers on it. You have to have 6 inches of reflective material by state law. So any sticker that I got, I just slapped it on there for more reflective. Everybody would keep them and collect them and all kinds of stuff. This one I had done because I'm 5th generation in my family of coal miners. It's went from my dad's side to my mom's side. My great-grandma started at the place I was at. And I just had that one done. This is my grandpa's that actually he wore underground right before he retired.
We had fears because of what the current administration had promised they were going to do with the coal industry. We had fears that it was going to get worse, but I don't think anybody really thought it would get as bad as it is. I mean, I heard what President Obama said, that he was going to, it's fine, you can build a coal-fired power plant, or mine coal, but we're going to bankrupt you.
Murray Energy released a statement saying, quote, Murray Energy Corporation confirms that certain workforce adjustments and scheduling changes made in the normal course of business are necessary to reflect the current coal marketplace, which has been destroyed by President Barack Obama and his supporters.
More than 500 coal miners will be laid off by Murray Energy.
Increasing government regulations have put financial strain on Alpha. Now that financial burden is trickling down to the communities mining that coal.
This particular product that they're making is actually going to Turkey. And all of what you see stacked up behind you there is also going to Turkey. Honestly, this is probably the only thing that may be still keeping us in business. We've lost so much business due to the overregulation of our government and Obama's war on coal. We used to have probably 200 coal mines within a couple hours of our facility, and now there may be 50 left, if that.
Since President Obama has been in office, we've judged up most of our standards by that. We've lost over half of our underground coal mines. Over half, just in 7 years. And it's going to get worse.
When I first became the pastor in 2000, first of all, our community was thriving. Our community was doing really well. It was vibrant. There was a lot of life and a lot of energy in our community. There were still some pockets of poverty. There were pockets of addiction and some things of that nature, but it wasn't prevalent.
This area of our shop, which looks almost abandoned, at one point we were fabricating a SCBA escape system for Alpha Natural Resources, and that was about a $3 or $4 million order. The industry was really pushing that technology, but since the downfall in the market and the plummeting prices and the bankruptcies, there's no market for that now.
Well, I was in the group that got laid off first, but you could tell from the people that was worrying that had bigger families and stuff, they would start worrying because we was getting our hours cut back. We was getting our bonuses took away from us. It kept getting stricter and stricter, and everybody was just worrying themselves to death.
You just turn the TV on, there's Kanawha County, Boone County, Lincoln County, Logan County. Every day there's 20, 30, 40, 50 people losing their jobs.
I think we are pawns in a game, and we're pawns in a political game and nobody cares about us.
Take you over into our fabrication shop. This is where we do all of our metal fabrication, welding, powder coating. A lot of this equipment was purchased in anticipation of being able to supply those SCBA systems.
206 got laid off at our mines, and I don't know how many numerous people. I'm wanting to say in the hundreds, maybe close to 400 or 500 people that I know has been laid off, had to go find somewhere else, had to relocate just to make their families, just to support their families.
This was about a $35,000 investment, a CNC plasma cutting table. Not what you want to see is it setting steel. If it's not cutting metal, it's not making money, and we have no orders in here right now, nothing to build.
It's very depressing because you go in, whenever I was a little kid, I can remember people being happy all the time because their families was always fed. They had nice vehicles, nice houses because their husbands and their wives worked in the coal mines. And now it's to the point where vehicles are run down that you drive them past, people having homes they don't keep up on because they don't have a job anymore. They have no way to support themselves.
When coal is doing good, then pretty well everybody's doing good in Wyoming County. And when it is not doing good, then it touches everybody's life in this county.
If coal does not come back, West Virginia will turn into nothing. All these little small towns, all the buildings will go away, people will leave. It'll just be nothing anymore.
There's no welders running, there's nothing being built, there's no money being generated right now. All the result of Obama's overregulation, the EPA's overregulation, and the war on coal.
County government is funded by property taxes. Now it's property on the land you own, it's property on inventory. If you have a car lot maybe and you have a lot of cars there, there's some tax on that helps fund county government. If you have if you own a coal mine and there's 50, I don't mean individual people who mine coal, but a coal miner, of a machine that mines coal, then all of those things are taxed at a certain rate. And we get a severance tax. Finally, in this state's history, we decided to make people pay. If you're going to haul coal out, pay a little money on it, and we can use that money as a tax base. Well, all of those things are downturning now. This county government is looking at probably $500,000 on a $5 million budget.
Lawmakers must tackle a multi-million-dollar budget deficit when they meet in 2 weeks. The state is in this financial mess because the coal severance tax plummeted $190 million in just the past year.
This year alone, our local revenue has decreased over $1 million. And that's a lot of money to Wyoming County. This coming year, it's going to even get worse.
The single largest income bracket or income producer in the state of West Virginia is the personal income tax. Well, coal miners make good money, and when they're not working, they're not paying personal income tax.
I mean, we're already in this courthouse, for instance. We're not going to hire people for Christmas. We're probably not going to hire summer kids from college for the summer. We're not going to give any raises whatsoever. They're taking a hard look and praying that they can continue to pay the insurance for the employees who are here.
You're talking about just a downward spiral that is completely out of control. The coal mining industry is the anchor of the state of West Virginia's economy.
There would just have to be some kind of financial engine there for these people to find jobs. I mean, we can get them ready for a job, but we can't actually provide them a job. It's basically, in a long way of telling the story. You know, we can get them ready, but we just can't provide them.
We want to diversify, yes, and we're trying. But you can't replace thousands of coal jobs overnight where these people making close to $100,000 a year when they're working.
Ten years ago, it was booming. I mean, you know, the phones rang off the hook. We had 6 full-time people that worked here. We only have 1 full-time person now, and that's me, and we have 1 part-time person, and she works 1 day a week, and I work the rest of the week. The market has declined so much that it's really hard now to sell anything with the mines being out of work, because that's the majority of our buyers, our coal miners.
I've already sold my house. I just put it on the market because I knew things were already bad. I knew they were going to get worse, and they've gotten worse since I sold it. And I wanted to get it out there because I figured, you know, I might be lucky to sell it in a year.
Miners lose their jobs, and the miners that already have bought homes are not able to make the payments on their homes. So therefore, they're moving out because they've got a $1,500 or $2,000 payment a month that they can't afford. So they're getting out of that house, letting the banks have them back.
It's not cheap to sell your house. Who's going to buy a house right now? I'm not, you know. It's not cheap to uproot your kids from school.
I mean, I've got 2 young babies at home. I've got a boy that turned 3 in August and a little girl that just turned 20 months old. And our community is dying. Everything around us is dying. There's no jobs, there's no future for them. And I really don't want to pack them up and move them away from their grandparents and all their family members, but I have to look out for their best interest.
We are looking at the edge of the cliff. Financially, county government and the school system's about to step over the edge. And it keeps coming more and more.
Everybody's affected by it. When a coal company goes out of business in a small town like this, it affects every business. Everybody's touched by it. The local restaurants, you know, the bar, the grocery stores.
I work at Kistler Grocery. We've been here almost 40 years. My husband's father started it, and he was here like a year, and then we took over, and we've been here about 40 years.
They're under such stress, spiritually, mentally, and financially, not just in my church. I hear it from people in the grocery store, in the post office, pumping gas. Wherever I am in the community, people are like, you know, Pastor, I need you to pray. You know, I'm about to lose my job. Pastor, would you pray? It's Christmas. I don't know if we're going to have presents for our kids. Pastor, would you pray? They come and got my car the other day. Pastor, we may have to sell our home. Pastor, we moved in with relatives because we can't live in our home anymore. We can't pay the mortgage.
We just kept losing business, and then recently all of the bankruptcies have cut into our sales. So we now have 4 employees. We laid everybody off in the spring of 2014.
When all those EPA rulings came out, it's been on a downfall. And now they're just not issuing permits. It costs too much to mine the coal. They're selling the coal for like $10 or $20 a ton. They're losing that much because it's costing so much to mine it. So that's when it started. But the last 2 years, I think have been extreme. It's gotten extremely worse.
When it costs so much to produce coal and there's so many fines and violations and EPA and DEP, and I just, you know, I'm not going to sit here and work every day and not make money.
And it's just gradually dropped off 50, 55%. Coal companies laying off. People don't have extra money to go out and enjoy themselves on the weekends.
There's almost a depression that's hitting them mentally as far as economically. And we're struggling now to not only minister to our community's needs as far as those who are impoverished or struggling with addiction, but when I first came, now it's the people who are used to smiling and opening the small business and pouring money into the economy so that other businesses can come. Now they're struggling just to feed their families, to pay their mortgages, to see if they'll be able to hold on to their automobile and it won't be, you know, taken back because of defaults on loans.
But until you get down here and see what it's doing to mom and pop shops, restaurants closing, school systems going to be laying off teachers and service personnel, the cooks are going to lose their job because we're going to have funding cuts. Are we actually having funding cuts because of the lost revenue? That story's not being told.
It's going to get worse. It can't get better anytime soon, but nobody really knows how bad it will get. But we're just all waiting for the other shoe to drop, I guess, and for them to just shut them all down.
I mean, I'm down to the point where I'm actually thinking about closing up, and that would be a shame. This has been around for a long time.
I don't know where they're going to go because, I mean, there's no other jobs around here. Everybody's going to have to move.
Obama has come right out and told everybody that he was against coal, and he has made that plain around here. He has tried his best to bankrupt the coal companies and done pretty good at it. He's really hurt us.
55. Now I need 3 pennies.
Well, you don't want to get me yapping around on that right there about that coal. That's why I ain't working that.
Now, and you're living in a tent.
And I'm unemployed.
And you're unemployed and you can't work.
Exactly.
I know, that's the way I am. They just, I mean, it's hard. Once you get me started.
You can't.
Exactly. Yep.
Retirement's just drying up and going away. Patriot Coal's filed bankruptcy a couple times in the last couple years, and they've had to cut the retirement plans and health benefits from all of the retirees. These people retired years ago from the Patriot, you know, or in the last 10 years. They haven't worked in the coal mines in several years. They've lost it all because it's war on coal.
But I feel sorry for the guys that's worked 20, 30 plus years. Now they have nothing. You know, their pensions are gone. A lot of these companies are taking their pensions. You know, they work. How would you like it if you worked 30 years and then, you know, what you put away to retire on's gone?
This war on coal, not only is it completely unjustified, completely irresponsible, I think it's criminal. It's criminal to what's going on to the people. It's an attack on the people of West Virginia and Appalachia in general. But the people of West Virginia, I mean, you're taking money away from education. Our great president is taking money from education in southern West Virginia. That's what it's doing.
The children are affected greatly. The way that it's affecting them is they see the stress and they see the pressure of their parents. They see the load and the weight that they're under, and they actually, you know, they end up doing without.
The churches have picked up a lot of the slack. The one big thing that I've noticed is even in our church, we have a food pantry now. We've never had a food pantry before.
Just last night, I try not to get all messed up here, but little boy that we give the box of food to 2 weeks ago come back to my wife, and he handed her a dime last night. And she said, "What's that for?" He said, "I want to give because you give to me."
Bad.
It's bad.
I need a job.
Yeah, everybody needs a job, and everybody's, yeah. That's about all we have left, is people on checks. And they're trying to take care of their kids because their kids don't have jobs. I stay angry all the time because you think, why would you work so hard? And these coal miners have worked hard all their lives, and they've done it for 25, 30, 40 years, and there's no work. And they don't have any other training to do anything else. So they don't know what they're going to do, and it's sad because they're really proud people, and if they can work, they would be more than happy to work. They just need jobs. So it makes it really sad when they come in and they say, I'm spending change that I've collected for years, I'm spending $2 bills, or you offer them a snuff that's $2 a can and they say, I can't afford that, do you have anything cheaper? It's just sad because they're real proud people and they will work.
Sorry. It does no good to cry about this, and I'll get over this eventually in my life. And I promise you, we sit around and think, what can we do? But I assure you, when your grandkids come back to Wyoming County one day, we'll be here. We will make it through this.
I don't know what the government has in mind, but I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to look to the future and figure out how to get out of this. You know, I'm not going to just sit back and wait for somebody to come and help me. I'm going to help myself.
If you're going to help someone, come down here and take a look at what's going on. If we're going to end up not mining coal, and that's not going to happen because we will somehow. If you want to retrain people, if you want to mitigate what happens as you mine less coal or create less carbon in the atmosphere, come to the Appalachian Mountains, come to the southern counties of West Virginia. We are being devastated. And is the media covering that? No, they're talking about climate change.
I mean, it's the same thing for us. If somebody doesn't tell us on the news what's going on in another community somewhere else across the country, we don't know. We don't know to maybe to step up and defend those people. We don't know. And so if the story's not being told, I think we're getting shortchanged. The country's getting shortchanged.
I wish that anybody could just come and visit, see how everything is, look at the history, talk to all the old people around here, and if there is a chance to go into a coal mine, to see how it operates, to see how the people are, see how nice they are. Just, they need to come visit just one time just to see how things are around here, see the actual truth of what's going on around here. They'd be shocked because you see all kinds of the old buildings around here that you could tell what it used to be, how popular it used to be around here, and now they're just abandoned buildings, just going to waste. And now it's happened.